Howdy folks, the name's Charlie White. I'm here at Truckee Rents today with Mountain Hardware and Sports, and we're going to go over with you guys a few tips of the trade on how to operate one of our log splitters safely and efficiently. We've actually got a couple of different options. We have a horizontal and a vertical, and in this tutorial I'm going to explain to you guys why you will want to use each one of those machines and the benefits that you'll get from choosing one or the other. So as you can see here, we actually have our horizontal log splitter. The horizontal log splitter is typically used in scenarios where you have logs that are liftable. Anything that you can manage on your own, lifting it up and getting it up onto this I-beam to operate it, that's when you're going to want to use the horizontal log splitter. So let's go ahead and start talking about how we get this thing fired up. So as you can see here on our horizontal log splitter, we've got a Honda engine. This Honda engine has got a few different levers on it that you need to pay attention to when getting ready to start it. When you rent a machine from us, you're going to find that the gas lever, the switch to turn your fuel on and off, is going to be in the off position. And that's pulled all the way over here to the left when you're facing it. And the reason for that is because during transportation, if you had just shut your motor off with the gas running, the gas will stay in that carburetor and it'll actually cause it to flood, because every time you hit a bump, the bowl down here in that carburetor will be full of gas and the gas will shoot up into the top of the carburetor and it'll flood it. So you're always going to find this thing in the off position right where it's at. So first of all, when you get to this engine, you're ready to start it, make sure you always turn your gas into the on position. Just above that lever is your choke, the little gray knob right here just above that black one. The choke is actually the opposite direction to turn on. You can see there's a little picture down here that shows the choke emblem. You want to make sure that gray knob is just above the choke emblem to know that your choke is on. And then just above that lever right here is your actual idle, and that's your throttle. You can see there's a little diagram here that's got a rabbit and a turtle, and the rabbit means higher RPMs, and the turtle means lower RPMs. So to the right is slower, to the left is faster. On the back side of the engine over here, there's an on and off switch. This should almost always be in the on position because we always run the carburetor dry by turning the fuel off. But you always want to make sure you check that switch, because if you start pulling on it trying to get it start and it's in off, you're just going to wear yourself out. So make sure that that guy is pointed in the down position where it says on. From there, we could actually start going and trying to start the engine. Once it fires, turn your choke off. And then you can actually idle down after it's been running for a few seconds and the motor head is warm, so now you're not listening to the engine screaming at you. At this point, you want to check all of your fittings. You want to make sure that there aren't any leaks coming out from any of the hoses, and that everything looks dry and the way it's supposed to be. And that's just following the hose lines and making sure that you don't see any hydraulic fluid dripping out of them. On the other side, there's another hose. You want to check that one as well. And then you want to check your cap as well, making sure that there's nothing bubbling up out of that hole there, because if it's bubbling, then that means there might be too much fluid in it and we're going to have a problem. If everything looks dry and everything looks like it's in its operable place, you can go ahead and idle up and grab your log. Now, as you can see, when I was splitting that log, I had my hands on the top of the round. You never want to have your hands on the ends of the round, because as you can see, that's where the pinch points are. Making sure that you keep any kind of body parts or debris free of those pinch points is absolutely important for your safety, because if you have a hand here or here while in operation, it's very easy to not realize you have a fingertip or a thumb or a palm or something stuck that's right there that could cause a serious injury. So making sure when you're holding the log, holding it in the right position on the top or the outside of it is the best way to operate and hold the log while splitting. And after you finish splitting, you want to make sure that you push this lever back so the ram closes itself all the way back inside of its shaft here. And then from there, while it's running, you don't actually want to turn the off switch into the off position to stop it. You want to leave that in the on position and turn your gas off by pulling it back to the left. It'll continue to run until the gas runs out of the bulb. And the reason for that is that way when you go to transport it back, you don't have the opportunity of flooding it because you left a bulb full of gas and just turned it off. And so making sure you turn the fuel off, letting it run dry before you leave with it, instead of turning it off, is the best way to get this engine to turn off and transport it. We want to talk to you guys about the other option that I had mentioned at the beginning of this. Again, the horizontal log splitter is great for logs that are manageable, logs that you can pick up on your own and set on top of that I-beam to get to split. If you've got something that's a little bit, unmanageable, a little bit too big, something you just don't want to break your back on, picking up to that height, we have the option for you here in a vertical log splitter. How this guy works is it's set up right now for you. I'm going to go over that in just a minute. It's designed so you don't actually have to lift the log. You can actually just tilt the log onto its side, roll it into position, and then split the log from there. That eliminates a lot of back-breaking pain in trying to lift a giant log up onto an I-beam like you would for the horizontal. So let me show you guys how you set this thing up real fast. Alright, so as you can see, our vertical log splitter, when you come here to Truckee Rents to pick it up, it's actually set in the horizontal position. It's going to look just like one of our horizontal splitters. How you set it up right is with two little locking levers, that one in the front here, right below the I-beam, and then one right over here on the back side at the bottom of the I-beam. And you're going to pull those both out, unlocking them. You'll lift the I-beam upright, and then you'll push the whole machine forward and relock the lower one to lock that I-beam in the upright position. So again, when you're done operating this, right now the engine is off. I just shut it off so you guys could hear me. But what you actually want to do is leave the engine running when you're done splitting all the wood. Come to this part of the engine where your fuel switch is. Right now the fuel would be in the on position. And actually pull it to the left to turn the fuel off. And that's going to run that fuel out of the carburetor, avoiding it from flooding during transportation when you come to bring it back to us. Okay, so just to go over what we went over today is the horizontal and vertical log splitter, the proper safety equipment, how to properly operate the engine, and how to properly shut it down for transportation. If you guys have any further needs or questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or any one of us here at Truckee Rents. The phone number is 530-587-7832. And we look forward to helping you guys out. Thanks so much.